One of the questions people raised most often this past year concerning Hong Kong was that, is the city losing freedom? In particular, freedom of speech, expression, and press. Recently, a major opposition news organization closed down all its operations in Hong Kong under pressure, and 5 senior management personnel were arrested by the National Security Police. My veteran journalist friend was so angry over the matter that she posted on her Facebook page that asks, "Is there still press freedom in Hong Kong?" Of course, we all know that it was not a real question. The post was just an outcry and a protest for the freedom of press being suppressed in the city. But an idea suddenly came up that this might be a good starting point for the first topic of this humble channel. So I decided to respond to her post by doing a video around this issue. This is the first video created for the channel to reveal different voices and facts about Hong Kong and China that people seldom hear from mainstream media. I felt that Hong Kong citizens deserve to be properly and proportionally represented. People outside of this region should know the facts, the diverse points of views and various feelings for things happening around Hong Kong and China, in addition to what have been portrayed by international media and some other local media. Footage in this video was mostly shot in various parts of the city between June 26th and 29th in the year 2021, almost a year since the national security law was implemented in Hong Kong by China's central government. Is freedom of expression suppressed in Hong Kong now? Ask the people who live here on a daily basis and do some fact check. Listen to local radio programs. Look at the newsstands in the street and check out the internet. You will find the government's most fierce critics have been in operation for decades. They are still criticizing the Hong Kong government and Beijing every day, loud and clear. It doesn't look like they are going to be in trouble anytime soon. The freedom of expression that gets repressed is the promotion to separate Hong Kong from China, making Hong Kong an independent state. 2 members of the news group's senior management were prosecuted at the time of this video because they wrote to suggest independence or allow the newspaper to dissipate such messages, since the new laws took effect a year ago. More seriously, they were prosecuted because they continued to overtly plead to foreign powers to exert pressure, such as imposing sanctions to Hong Kong and China as a means to force the local and central governments to succumb to their demands. Also banned is the rhetoric inciting hatred based on the differences in political stance or place of origin, such as discriminating and assaulting people from mainland China. Other messages that were quoted are the provocation of violent acts and rallying for riots to damage properties, assault the police and people with opposing opinions. But these bans have been in place since the colonial era. They have nothing to do with the newly implemented national security law. It's just that the Hong Kong government has not made full effort to enforce those laws until now, in the fear of being accused of suppressing freedom after returning to China's sovereignty 24 years ago. Moreover, it is rumored that malicious fake news and spreading misinformation to harm the society will also be prohibited. Make no mistakes, I'm not debating whether these messages are justifiable or not. I'm simply stating the fact of what is being suppressed in Hong Kong under the current legal system, the bulk of which is from British common law. In fact, background of the story is way more complex than what this meager video can extrapolate. I called this closed-down news group an opposition for the sake of convenience earlier in the video, but the political agenda behind their role as a quote-unquote news medium and their smear tactics employed in the last 2 decades to stir up revolution to bring down the local and central government are outside the scope of this video. I'm not arguing whether these lofty political ideals have the right to place themselves above the law or not either. I'm just trying to tell the truth from a different perspective to the English-speaking public who are being misled by giant international media with partial reporting. Back to the subject of losing freedom in Hong Kong. If the recent containments mentioned before mean loss of press freedom, please tell me a country in the history that allows this type of messages to freely spread around in the society. If the national security law is such an evil instrument to deprive people's freedom, show me a Western country that does not have similar laws in place. But according to my research, they are even more stringent in the so-called democratic countries. Come visit Hong Kong and China when the pandemic is over. Ask the people in this video about what freedom they have actually lost. Ask them if they enjoy a more peaceful society so that they can go about their normal lives without fear of violence from riots, or the risk of being physically attacked when expressing different opinions in the street. Talk to the people who shop here and find out how exactly they are suppressed and which living condition they rather have. A lot of Hong Kongers, as they call themselves, left the city for a place of liberty during the past 12 months and probably more will do so later. Some worried they will lose personal freedom down the road in Hong Kong. Some are afraid that their kids will grow up in a police state. Some took advantage of the political situation for an easy migration to a Western country in the future. Several of them are riot criminal suspects who fled the city while on bail. However, some of them are sick of the chaos and terrorist acts stirred up by people with a political conspiracy in the city and want to pursue a more peaceful life elsewhere. Ironically, quite a few people left Hong Kong to live in mainland China for a more harmonious environment. Come visit Hong Kong. Ask the majority of people who remained in the city by choice what they think. Especially ask the rich ones who have all the means to relocate to anywhere they wish to live their lives why they didn't go. Find out for yourself. You'll be shocked by the biased picture of Hong Kong the media have presented to you. While on this topic, it is inevitable that people will argue about what caused Hong Kong to lose its freedom, especially what happened in the last 2 years that prompted the national security law. It is a long story that needs a dozen episodes to cover the bare minimum facts. And then it will eventually lead to the who is to blame issue, the typical chicken and egg question that might require another several dozen videos to even scratch the surface. Unfortunately, like troubles in any relationship, the sad part is that we might never have all the facts, we might never see the whole picture, and we will never know who actually started all the snowballing and the entanglement. So it's way beyond the scope of this first attempt. In conclusion, are the people in Hong Kong gasping for air? Or do they rather have some redfish to guard them from the harm of the black-clad fish so that they can swim freely and safely? Are Hong Kong citizens living a miserable and gloomy life under the new law, or are they happy with the changes with the hope of stability and prosperity? Do you have the whole picture? I'm afraid there's no simple and one-sided answer. What will the future hold for this international city? Only time will tell. Thank you for bearing with me for my barely comprehensible English. I'd love to see you all again in the next one.